You mentioned earlier that you were a smoker. As a surgeon, one of the big things I do is I do not operate on smokers.
Yep.
However, if you take a smoker and you get them off of cigarettes, even if they're like a 20-year smoker, one pack a day, 20 years, and you get them off cigarettes for 4 to 6 weeks, those patients, their tissues rebound, the vascularity, the blood supply rebounds in just 4 to 6 weeks to the point where it's typically safe to operate on them. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter in some ways how long they've been smoking. You get them off that for that 4 to 6 week period, your body wants to heal. Your body wants to regenerate itself and has that ability. Once again, you just have to do the right things for it.
Yes, yes, 100%. You can get somebody into a more metabolically balanced lifestyle and they start to decrease their insulin and their insulin resistance starts to improve and the
Yep.
inflammation starts to go down. And granted, I don't usually see changes on labs for about 90 days, but
Hmm.
man, really great things happen in those 90 days and things start reversing themselves and things start improving. And that's where I think we really, and it became really evident during the pandemic, like this black and white thinking, and I see that with folks too, who are trying to lose weight or trying to jump on the path or I always say wellness is a journey. It's not a destination, right? Like we're just
I
always
agree.
on the path and that path might get, you might get pushed off by some stressful event, or maybe you start drinking too much wine, or maybe whatever it is, like things will start to detour you from your path, but you just got to get back on the path. And none of us are perfect. I certainly am
Hmm.
not a purist by any means. I actually pride myself in that. So many people online, all these influencers are so puritanical. And I'm like, I'm just a normal person living out on a farm trying to just stay hot and happy. Like, I just,
Well, and I think that's important because
and help.
we have friends of ours who are biohackers and things like that, and the lifestyles that they live and that they promote. The vast majority of people can't do that. The vast majority of people are not going to buy a cold tub and put it in their backyard and fill it full of ice and sit in it every day. This
Right.
is not necessarily realistic for the most of the people. And so for me, the book that I wrote was meant to try to get people where they are. And so there's some followers of mine who are really into their health. And for them, some of the stuff that I give them, like, oh yeah, I can easily intermittent fast for a couple of days a week to help with the process of autophagy. And then there are other people who are like, wow, I drink 4 cans of soda pop a day. And Dr. Youn tells me to start by going down to 2. Like, that's a big win for some people. And if that's the win that you get, that's okay. Life is a journey where you want to go ideally in the right direction. And for me, what I'm trying to do is kind of nudge people in the right direction. A lot of my followers have never, probably don't even realize a lot of the stuff that's in this book can really impact them. They may not realize that, let's say, deep fried foods are filled with free radicals and that can
Yes.
cause inflammation and cause issues with their health. Like, they may not even get it. So I think it's so important because unfortunately, as we live in this society where it's just, oh, your labs are normal, so you must be healthy. And it's like, no, that's not necessarily the case. How do you actually feel inside? That's a big thing.
Yes. Yes. Man, fried food will make you look like garbage, though. That is a truth. Those,
Yeah,
those seed oils in an super oxidized state, bad news. I just think of
yeah.
my poor cells going, eh.
Well, and free radicals, one of the main agers of the skin, and you get a ton of free radicals from ultra processed and deep fried foods. And so
Yeah.
limiting that can make a big, big change on your skin. So definitely just one of the super simple tips to get better skin. And that's, I think, one of the reasons why your skin looks so great.
Oh, thank you. Well, I also have good lighting.
That helps too.
You should analyze my skin up close and you tell me. I thank you though. Do you remember when we were young, my daughter, well, my daughter had terrible acne.
Mm,
She's an interesting case. She listens to me sometimes and not always, but when she does listen to me, her skin clears up and looks amazing. But my
yeah.
sister also had terrible acne. The terrible acne kind of skipped me. That's where a lot of those antibiotics came in, actually, was me being vain and, living off of, I don't even know which one I was on forever, but,
Yeah.
trying to keep the acne. That's what they put you on in high school. They would
Yeah.
just pump you full of antibiotics to keep your acne down. But do you remember when it was like, oh, fried foods and chocolate will give you zits? That's about as far
Yeah.
as they took it. And it
And
was
you
just
know what?
like benzoyl
We know that
peroxide.
And we know that that's technically true now. I mean, because acne is an inflammatory state, fried foods that will increase inflammation. Chocolate, dark chocolate's one thing. Milk chocolate, which is, who
Yeah.
ate dark chocolate back in the day? It was all milk chocolate back then. I mean, so
Yep.
there definitely is truth there. And I think, with the antibiotic, it's interesting because I think they look so much at bacteria being a cause of acne. And I'm not a dermatologist, so I don't actively treat acne patients. But there are antibiotics now that people are put on by dermatologists as a way to just ideally reduce inflammation
Yep.
at very, very low levels. And what's causing, but where's the root cause here? What's the inflammation coming from? Well, it's coming from, a lot of it's just basically what you eat.
Yep. Yep. Amen. I agree.
And what's the big inflammation causer? Sugar. So there you go. The first step, you've got acne, reduce the amount of sugar you eat. You can reduce chronic inflammation, reduce glycation. Glycation is a major ager of the skin. Just by reducing the amount of sugar you eat, once again, reduce the amount of sugar sweetened drinks, your skin is definitely going to benefit from that.
Yep. And it doesn't matter what age you are or whether we're talking about acne or not. That is a quick way to make yourself look rough
Yep.
around the edges is,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, especially cystic acne, because that scarring is really, really hard to improve. I
Yeah.
get so many patients ask me, I've got this acne scarring, from cystic acne. How can I improve it? And it's like, there's no eraser for it. There's just minor amounts you can improve at a time. It's frustrating.
Yeah, it's tough. And it's really devastating. I think it's a harbinger, though. It's a signal that something is
Yeah.
wrong in the body.